Good morning, everyone. It's 6 o'clock. Let's begin. Well, it's 6 o'clock if you're doing this in person, or not in person, but live. I don't know what time it is if you're on the replay. So just gather yourself to your mat and find your child's pose. And then just take a moment to sort of scan your face, just your face alone, and see if there's any space there for you to relax something. Even if you just got out of bed, you probably have something that you could soften. It's most likely the space behind your eyes and the space around your throat. And then maybe take it a little further and find some softness between your shoulders, across the belly, and down into the hips. And then just take a moment to recognize how much you may be guarding this area of your body daily, just because you're layering on some, protective stances for whatever reason. And then just maybe take your knees a little wider than they've been this series and outstretch your arms and reduce that like natural holding in energy and broaden the front body just a bit. And then as you do that, send the breath a little fuller side to side than we have been. So you're filling the lungs in the low back into those wings really well. And then open your mouth and exhale. And then do the same thing. Slow, deep breath in. Open your mouth and let go. One more time. Deep breath in, side to side, and this time a little bit more top to bottom. Open, exhale. And then closing your lips, let the breath just move in through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. Two more times on your own, bringing your attention inward and just only on self. There's a bunch of busy little monkeys up in our minds, and at this point, you're giving them all just one simple task, getting them to sit still and focus on one simple thing. All of your concentration culminating on attention to this moment and to this self. Keep that focus and attention for as much as possible throughout the entire class. And when the monkeys get a little busy, you lose a couple of them, put yourself right back here in child's pose and find that really steady rhythm of breathing. And it will hold you steady for the practice. So keeping this as your priority, find your way slowly up onto your hands and knees. And as you do, take care to stay connected to your breathing. So inhaling, you might look up and the belly might fall. And exhaling, possibly look under and the belly rounds up to the sky. Continue with that a few times. Breathing all the while. That's really the rhythm of the practice. And then slowly find your way into just a neutral spine, looking between your thumbs now, and send your left leg to the back of the room. Good. As you do that, reach your right arm forward as if you're going to shake a hand, and then sweep your right arm to the right and open your left knee awkwardly to the left like a dog skiing on a hydrant. And then hold there and inflate everything. Feel steady. And then inhale everything back long. Exhale, set it down. Inhale, right leg goes back, left arm goes forward. Sweep the left arm left and open the right knee to the right. So good. Reach long, breathe in, and exhale, set it down. Good. From there, just find your steady rhythm in the plank. So this is a great place to challenge yourself to focus and concentrate on the breathing, because as the effort increases, your monkeys sort of really have to snap to it. Like it's kind of when the postures are a little less challenging that your mind starts to wander more. So when you're in the more physical postures, it's simpler to keep the breath at the forefront. And that's why we put ourselves in plank usually right off the bat. And it's also just a way to get all these muscles to say, oh, it's time. It's time to do our work. It's time to show up for ourselves. So just one more bigger breath in. And then move to your downward facing dog. Use this down dog as a way just to, again, continue releasing the guarding energy you might have accumulated in the front chest. So melt your shoulders more towards your knees or hips or thighs. And then at the same time, allow yourself to train those monkeys, those busy little crazy monkeys. They're always doing all sorts of nonsense up there. So you're still doing the rhythmic breathing. Sorry, I'm testing the sound. Okay. So one more bigger breath in your down dog. Again, let the chest melt more. And then slowly look at your thumbs and take that long walk up to the top. Stay hinged forward like a rag doll and sway side to side. I think today might be our no music class, which saves me the trouble of making a playlist for tomorrow. So if that's the case, we're going to make sure that the breath is the music. So you're going to have this opportunity to turn the volume, that constriction in your throat space up. It should sound a little like a hiss, like a distant ocean over time. It feels conspicuous in the beginning. Just lean into it, especially if you're alone. And then find your way into the twist with the inhale breath. So sending the right arm up, bend your left knee. And then because it's a vinyasa practice, we practice samavriti. It's a balanced breath, same inhale, same exhale. And then lower on the exhale, right hand down, left arm reaches up, bend your right knee, inhaling. There are many other pranayama practices that give you a really lovely, amazing result. Exhale, but they're less appropriate for the vinyasa purposes. So if you have longer exhales in your rhythm of breathing, it's a beautiful thing, but it won't always support the level of, engagement that we're going to seek today. And then rise up on the inhale breath. Inhale, it sounds a little like Darth Vader. And then mountain pose, exhale. I don't know if you can hear my breath through these AirPods, but I sound like Darth Vader. I'm just kidding. It's not quite that, that loud. But you're standing in your mountain pose. Another place that you get your monkeys in line. You just have them follow you along. We're in mountain pose and our focus is forward on one simple thing. That's that drishti spot. You're honing your attention, building concentration, realizing that concentration is the gateway to the meditation that we seek. Focus, focus, focus. That's it. So simple, so difficult. Continue training your energy and your thoughts on your breath and use the inhale to reach your arms up. Big breath in as you root down, and then exhale, fold forward and half swan dive. Half lift now, inhale and really lengthen your spine, and fold forward, empty, exhale. Step your feet back and find your plank again. Refresh, strong inhale, breaths in plank. Good, lower slow all the way to the belly the first round. And then chest, legs, and arms lift up on the inhale and begin to feel longer from crown to tail to foot. Staying for your exhale, take another refresher, inhale breath, and then hands down, push up to that longer plank or the knee down plank, downward facing dog. Close your eyes maybe and feel. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, feet to your hands. Inhale on arrival. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, root down, rise up. We're going to come right back down. Exhale, swan dive, empty as you fold. Half lift, inhale, breath. Hands down, step back and find your way. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Breathe in, empty the lungs, and breathe out. Two more of those. Inhale, breathe in. Empty, exhale. Last one. Stay in the down dog. The next inhale, simply lift the right leg up. Step it between your hands and reach your arms back behind as you breathe in. Left arm goes forward and then the right. Inhale slowly up into crescent, push well into the back toes. Exhale, move into your warrior two. Hear the breath. Inhale, reach up and back. And then exhale, hands to the floor, right foot back. Building the audible quality in your breath is going to take time. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog, but it's a very worthy effort, or child's pose. One more big breath in. Stay in down dog as you breathe out. Inhale, left leg comes up. Use the whole exhale to step or drag it forward. When your heel hits, inhale, arms back, zip everything up. Exhale, reach the right arm and then the left. Inhale, sweep it up, big breath to the top. There's space between, remember to enjoy it. And then slowly move to your exhale, breath warrior two. Inhale when you're ready to reach up and back. It doesn't have to be too far at all. And then swim the hands down in one fluid movement, one day to chaturanga. Until that breath gets that long, you'll take an inhale, most likely in plank, and then lower slow and controlled on your exhale. Individualizing the process, individualizing the transitions between standing in mountain pose and making your way to downward facing dog. Just have one more round. Use your inhale to bring the right leg up. Step forward, and when the heel hits, inhale, arms back. So simple. Exhale as you reach to the sideways through the fingertips, left and right. Keep all that extension, reaching, reaching, reaching. Inhale up to the sky. Slowly settle, open, equal energy, front, back, top, and bottom. Inhale, reverse, same energy in the legs, nice and equal and even. Hands frame the right foot as you come through your exhale breath. You might inhale again in plank, or perhaps you've already lowered. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Try to flip over those toes all at once one day. Maybe taking opposite feet flipping for now. Downward facing dog. Breathe steady. Reduce that guarding energy. Hopefully you're starting to untangle a bit. And then we'll move to the left side last time. Inhale. Long, slow step. There's plenty of time. And remember the space in between to linger. Arms back as you inhale, breath. Reach right and then left. You might be out of sync with me. It's perfect. Inhale, reaching up. Open slow, warrior two. Reverse as you deeply sit down into the left knee. And then spin those hands down to the floor. Lift your left leg nice and controlled, everything engaged, stepping it back, moving slowly through your flow. Enjoy it, savor it, right? This is medicine that money can't buy. I've been saying that all week. Savor it, don't rush it. Medicine that money just can't buy. You're purchasing this medicine with the transaction of time, and your investment in this time comes back a millionfold, right? Your returns are immeasurable. Such a worthy way to spend your time. All right. Take a breath in. Remember, if your monkeys are dancing around, child's pose is the answer for that. Otherwise, look forward, feet to hands, and then right away, reach up energetically. Don't think about it. Don't discuss it with yourself. Just arms up, palms together. Interlace your fingers and release your index and cross your thumbs. Now reach up out of the waist, wiggle those biceps back behind the ears one day, straighter elbows, and then exhale, root down through your feet as you reach up and go a little bit over to the right. And this is an incredibly difficult posture to sustain, especially when you're newer to experiencing it. The first 5 or 10 times, it creates a lot of confrontation. It'll continue to create confrontation, but the first several times it's really intense. And some days you think you have it handled, and then boom, it's a difficult posture because your patience might be thinner, or you might not be feeling as tolerant, or any multitude of reasons. So, this is your opportunity to reconnect with all of those virtuous, character traits that we need to get through each day and return back to the top. Breathe in, reach up, exhale, stretch your patience, root down, reach up through your waist, reach up through the shoulders, reach up through the palms, squeeze your biceps even closer, and make an effort to straighten your arms even more. The straighter the elbows over time, the lighter the burden on the shoulders, because everything's contributing and engaging, but you're also able to then sort of unfurl all those kinked up iPhone cords, the tendons, the muscles, all the stuff that networks together in the arms and the shoulders gets better hydrated the straighter you can make it here. 3, 2, 1. Back to the top. Look at your thumbs. Strong legs, primarily. Squeeze an imaginary block between your thighs. Your tail's a little slightly under. Inhale, reaching up, not necessarily under, but definitely straight down. Exhale, lift out of the waist and make a back bend. Just a little one. Your head can be falling back on that little neck pillow. Your hips are pushing forward. Your heart is lifting. You're pushing down through your feet. You might have bent knees. It's fine. Just like you were dropping back. And then recruit that front core. Come back to standing. Hands by your sides. Let this happen. Resist the urge to take a sip of water here. Just let the feeling move through the body. Don't undo what you just did. And then if there's a lot of tick-tocking in that low back, because now you're being this excellent listener to your dearest friend, you might stay here in mountain pose for a number of breaths, or you might move into a yogi squat, toes out, heels in, and very slowly and with control, benefiting your knees the slower you can go into your squat. Once you find your way down into your malasana squat, woo, Almost fell on my butt. Once you get down into your squat, you might stay here. If you're like working towards adding flexibility into your physicalities, then you're going to be like nice and heavy. If you're working towards um, strengthening, maybe you already are fairly flexible, or maybe you just have very long, untoned muscles, then kind of scoop yourself up away from the floor a little bit. But remember, in the very beginning, we soften the front body. We're not guarding in the throat, the jaw, or the shoulders. And then as you're ready, maybe you're folding forward for a little bit of a fold, maybe Padangusthasana, circle those toes, peace fingers, and thumb grip. The softer you can be, the more space you'll find. So the practice allows you to sort of survey and observe without any judgment the ways that we sort of get in the way. And a lot of times, muscling yourself into a fold removes the opportunity for space. And it's the same off the mat. Like the more you push and pressure, the less space you'll have. It's just amazing the way those all intertwine. Eventually back to down dog or child's pose. Take your time. And you can see it. You're like, oh, I totally over pull myself into these folds. Like I'm so aggressive with it. And then you just learn to soften in these simpler places on the safe landscape of your mat. And then you can take the lessons off the mat. All right, second set. Look forward, feet to hands, arms over your head, palms together. Half the time, twice the effort, twice the ease. Root down, reach up, inhale, breath. Exhale, go right where you left off. Thigh muscles pull up and away from the kneecaps. Belly draws in, the tail's drawing slightly under. Your right shoulder might come forward slightly. And then be really aware of the throat. Keep it up and lifted, not like a Pez dispenser, but like kind of, just a natural amount. Crown of the head pulling towards the wrist pulling towards the right upper corner of your room. And then 3, 2, 1, back to the top. Face stays soft. People would think you're doing something pleasant. Inhale if they saw you. Exhale up and over to the left. And you're doing something incredibly hard, but you're doing it with such grace. You're healing your body from the inside out. This lateral stretch is so delicious for your spine. It's getting circulation that it doesn't get every day, like you brush and floss your teeth. I say it all the time. Taking care of you. Money in the bank. 3, 2, and 1. Back to the top. Second back bend. Look at your thumbs. Strong legs. Lift out of the waist. Breathe in. Exhale. Fall back. Go back. Look back one day. Trust the architecture of your body, and also trust your lungs to tell you when you're not honoring your body. Your lungs will tell you right away, like, yo, we're going too far. And then back out. Back to the top. Hands by your sides. Your monkeys are like, what's happening? Like they're getting like chit chatty about all the drama, right? They're always going to where the drama is. And you're just trying to get them to come back to one spot, which is the breath work. Just let them monitor the breath in and out. Second squat, or you can move right into your forward fold if your low back is happy about that. It's not a bad idea to travel to the fold through the squat. I think it just honors the low back a little bit better. If you are going right to your forward fold, I recommend that you walk these heels right and left multiple times. Like let your hips go up and down, sort of massage in there, and then come into a deeper forward fold. Maybe Padahastasana, where you're standing on your hands like sheets of paper. In order to shove them under well enough to get the toes towards the wrist creases, you're going to want to bend your knees a lot. And you can round the chest a little bit. The head comes in. And then over time, pushing the knees back in space as the hips lift. Good. And the elbows will kind of bend. You can use some leverage without being aggressive, right? You're learning to balance effort and ease in equal measure. And then when it feels right to you, you can add a crow pose here some days. You can just scoot back to child's pose. Eventually we'll be at the back of the mat and down dog. We'll also eventually be standing again, so you could just return to mountain pose sometimes. All right. So the comprehensive nature of this particular sequence is sort of almost like a checklist. We're just going through different pieces of the body. We just touch the upper. So let's move towards the middle of the mat and deal with the lower. Before rising to stand, take your two fists and measure the distance between your big toes and rise up to stand as you send your arms out straight in front of you. Now let's glance down. Bring the edges of the feet to be parallel with the edges of the mat. So it should feel awkward, hence the names. We're going to sit down into an itty bitty chair, but then check that the knees are now tracking towards the middle toes. So they're not coming towards center. Good. Sit deeper into your chair. Stick your butt way back, like I keep moving the chair back farther and farther. But then begin to upright the chest more so shoulders come a little over the hips and you're enhancing that curve in the lumbar. Stronger arms. Good. Keep the arms. Rise to stand, just straighten the legs and come all the way up onto your tippy toes. This is the work. This is the difficulty, just keeping the heels lifted as well as possible. Imagine there's a string on the crown of your head pulling you upward. Over time, you're going to get so efficient at this, you're going to have to challenge the balance by bending the knees. If the heels start to droop, then park it right there and work the feet. Eventually, hips will be in line with the knees, but no lower. Lean back, heels up, knees up, chest up, heels up, and return. Good stuff for the knees. If you have now for the third set, any compromise in your knees at all, like a meniscus hanging by a tear, repeat number 1 or 2. Probably number 2 would be ideal. Or if you're just trying to keep your knees happy and healthy, we're going to draw the knees together like they have a sheet of paper between them and come up onto the balls of the feet like there's a golf ball sized space there. Now draw the tail under, lean back, and we're slow and steady. Sumit would say the slower the better. Slow down, slow down, slow down. You're going to hear maybe a couple little musical notes from your knees. It's okay. Lean back, squeeze the knees, lift the hips up, and point the knees down. This all happens over time, not all at once, maybe 2 years from now. And then return with control. Hands by your sides. Capitalize on that higher heart rate. Let's move right to eagle. Inhale, arms up. Right elbow under, right leg over. And then as you sit into your eagle pose over time, the right foot is going to suck closer in and in towards the left calf. The breath is the primary focus, right? You're in this shape, and then you find the breath and move it into the shape. Lean back a little more, maybe the elbows up and away a bit, and switch. Inhale, arms up. Left elbow under, left leg over. Breathe. And switch. Second set. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, right elbow under. Sit low, right leg over. And then clean up the alignment just a bit. Direct your knees over time to be facing more forward. They're likely a little bit pointed to the left, so draw your right hip back in space a bit. Lean back a little. Bend your left knee maybe 2 or 3 inches. Sit down deeper, way deeper. Lean back again. Yes. And then switch. Inhale, arms up. Left elbow under, left leg over. Lean back. Sit low. And release. Inhale, arms up. Step to the back of your mat, palms together. Interlace your fingers. Inhale. Step right foot forward, make a T shape. As the body comes down, the leg comes up. Your hands are squeezing together, pulling away from your head, and your foot is pulling back from the torso. Return back to standing. The biceps stay against the ears if possible. Chin stays a little lifted. Breathe in. Look off the top of your mat. Exhale, step left foot, body down, leg up. Body down, leg up. Simple, not easy. Return back to standing, hands by your sides. Again, stay on the gas. We're going to have a break in just a moment. Unless your heart rate's really crazy, then stay put. Inhale, reach up. Step your right foot, airplane wings. Flex your left toes. Feel a little updraft in the chest. Hands to heart center. You might be reaching forward, maybe not. Reduce the turnout in the left hip though. Return back to standing. Inhale. Step your left foot. Airplane wings. Hands to heart center. Reaching forward. And return. Turn around. Lay down and just be still. About 30 seconds of just rest. Just rest. Keep your monkeys in a line. Keep your focus on this physical space, this present moment. So one big benefit of the music not working, Zoom has been doing some updates and like, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it's auto launching us unmuted lately. I don't know. Anyway, a couple little things. So we won't have music, which is really nice sometimes because it does help you be a little bit more cognizant of how your breath is moving and you can move a little slower if needed. And then we will omit the third flow for this practice. And I can also put this on YouTube because there won't be any trademark issues or whatever those are called with music. So find your way. Downward facing dog. And we'll just move kind of slower. We'll skip flow 3, which is nice sometimes on a replay. You just get a little bit different of a more restful practice. Not that this is super restful, but anyway, let's move. Downward facing dog. Right. Begin with your inhale breath. Right leg lifts up. Long step through. When the right heel finds its way to the top, inhale the arms back, just like the warm up. Feel everything in, and then reach left arm and right forward. Pause a moment, and then inhale to the top. Slowly open, warrior 2. Stay low in the front knee as you reverse. You're just creating space in the side waist, and then come to side angle pose, right elbow to the thigh, left arm to the sky. This can all also be done with the knee down. Good. Top arm extending over. Energize the inner border of the right or left leg, sorry, if it's lifted. And then begin to drop the left hand down, come onto the back toes, and reach the right arm up. Again, the knee might be down some days. Right hand behind the back. From here, pull our collarbones forward a little bit more. Let the right shoulder come back in space, but the crown of the head is also pulling back. And then unwind, come into any variation of lizard that feels good. So some of you might drop the back knee. Maybe you're on a forearm or two. Maybe the elbow's circling behind the calf muscle. Or maybe you're staying uprighted with the chest sort of pulling forward some days. The breath nice and bold. Moving now back to the side angle from this low point. You're going to feel more compression in the right side waist, and that's okay for now because it's just a puzzle piece. The left hand behind the back. Maybe one day the right arm goes through and under and the hands find one another. It's not important. It's just a maybe someday. You're on the path. Back knee down, climb onto the right knee. Hands to heart center. Exhale breath, twist to the right, and maybe lift the back knee. Since we're practicing with no ego on our mats, it's nice. It's like, well, it's not for me yet. Don't let it interfere. And let's flow, hands down, right foot back. Vinyasa your way back to down dog. Left leg, inhale, breath. Long step through. Inhale, arms back and behind. Again, maybe the knees down some days. Right arm reaches and then the left. Inhale, slowly up. Open slowly, warrior two. Good. Side angle as the left forearm finds the thigh and the right arm is up. Be certain to just let this left forearm not dig a deep red mark into your leg. So it's very light. Top arm extending. Inner border of the right leg strong. Breathe in. And then drop, finding that twist. Left arm reaches high. Left hand behind the back, collarbones forward, and also the chin is slightly lifted, so you're not allowing your gaze to go to the back of the mat. Keep the long spine, and then move into your lizard. Any variation. Maybe some days you just stay right up here. It feels kind of nice a lot of times. Both ways are great. But as you climb out of it, if you had circled your calf, leave your hand on the pinky toe side. Right arm reaches. And again, all this compression in the left side waist is okay just for the second set. Right hand behind the back. Maybe you lift out of it a bit. And then we'll complete this with a prayer twist as the right knee comes down. Hands to heart center. Use those rotational core muscles. Twist, 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 twist. And then maybe elbow outside of the knee for a little leverage. And then just strong breath, ebbs and flows. Those monkeys are so concentrated on this moment, nowhere else. And release. Hands down, left foot goes back, and flow. You know what they say if you don't train your monkeys. Whoo! I can't say it or YouTube won't let me post this video. They go to the bathroom everywhere, right? All right, second flow. Inhale, right leg lifts up. Long step through, warrior two. So clean up the alignment for warrior two just a bit. You're wanting the front heel to more or less intersect your back arch. Equal energy, front leg, back leg, top body, low body. So get deeper into the front knee, but then re-energize the back leg. And if you're covering up your right toes, scoot your foot a little forward and or pull your knee towards the baby toe side of the foot. Additionally, if you're jousting forward, your shoulders quite a ways forward, just draw back so they're stacking over their individual hips. And then the eyes, the gaze is right over the right middle finger. Equal energy, it's not easy to establish, but again, you're on the path. Straighten the front leg now, turn the toes in, take a swan dive forward, grab onto whatever's there. Keep your chin away from the chest, it's a different outlook. And then maybe you're standing one day on the tips of your fingers with the edges of your feet. No aggression. Steady breath. Hands now coming to our hips, elbows towards one another, long spine, rise up. Move through your warrior two. And encircling the hands down for side plank with the left hand staying posted. You can also just take a twist here, right arm comes up. If you're moving to side plank, right leg is back. You might line up the feet or stack the arches, top arm over. Push well through the left hand, lift up through the hips, reach more, drop the right hand and flow your way back to down dog. If the forward fold took your heart rate down a little bit more than you wanted to, then you might add a little plank stuff going on here. Maybe tap your shoulders and then move to down dog. But then you got to get right back on the horse and move to warrior two. Left foot stepping forward. You kind of jam in a little bit and then get right back. Same idea, warrior two. Consider your alignment. There's a million ways to refine each and every posture, even just when you're standing at the top of your mat. Refinement is happening. Your body's calibrating differently each time, figuring out the way to bring harmony into this body as best as possible. Where are you overdoing? Where are you underdoing? Where is there too much drama? Where am I not paying enough attention? Even, equal energy. And then begin to straighten the left leg. If it'll work, grab your hands, interlace them, and tuck your chin as you fold forward. It's best for your hips to have your heels slightly wider than your pinky toes. Your toes are just slightly in. And as you fold forward, if you have the interlaced hand fairly comfortably, encourage those hands to move away from your hips towards your head. Good, so good. Letting go of the grip if you have it. You might have just had hands to hips, it's perfect. Otherwise, twisting, or everybody's twisting, left hand down, right arm reaches up. Now, in this wide-legged twist, there's opportunity to feel the upper chest really open. So push the left hand more. And then strengthen the core as you come through center and switch. Right hand down, left hand up. And same idea, you're almost stacking your shoulders one day. Left shoulder over the right, pushed into the right hand for a little more extension or length. And then come back to center. Hands to your hips, elbows together, rise up. Warrior two. Circle your hands down. The right hand's going to plant for side plank, either directly under the shoulder or a little in front of it. If you're taking the twist, that's good too. Side plank can also be done with the right knee down. Top arm over. Some of you like to lift the top leg, push again into the right hand more, and then drop the left hand. You can add those enhancements, shoulder taps, or a few chaturangas, or you're just like getting your booty right back to maybe child's pose. We're skipping third flow, so there's nothing to stress over. And we'll do the old version of fourth flow. Sumit used to teach. I think he might still. Some people still do. Right leg lifts up high. Long step into Anjaneyasana. Back knee down, arms up. So in this low crescent pose, you can have your hands up. You could have hands behind your head and the elbows sort of spill away from each other. You can, if you indulge this, melt your hips towards your right heel. Good. If you're hyper flexible, cinch up a little bit, get out of those bones. Good. So nice. One more breath. And then begin to lower the hands, come into a half split or a full split. Hanuman, you just scooch that left knee back a little bit. You might need some assistance. A water bottle is a good distance from the floor lots of times. It's also good under the thigh. And then pigeon is the next stop. So roll out onto your right hip, maybe just a 90-degree angle in each leg where the front shin is parallel with the front of the mat and the back shin is parallel with the edge of the mat. Lots of landscape to discover there. Or you're in tabletop where your right knee comes behind your right wrist. Slide the left knee back a little. Maybe sit up tall for a breath or two. And then you might fold forward and close your eyes. And then just, it's almost like a romance, right? You're just having this intimate time shared with just you, getting to re-know yourself. And it's just an experience that allows you to rinse out some of the stuff we collect, especially when we talk about guarding. We create these physical barriers to difficulties, put on these layers of protection. And what happens, unfortunately, is some of the harm might not be getting to us, but neither is any of the light. So you work in this practice to keep yourself in a pretty trusting and vulnerable energy, while still having layers of protection that allow the light to come in. It's a very tricky thing to start to create, and it's pretty big work. But just plant those seeds, possibilities, and stay open. as the world needs to see our lights too. Those those sheaths of protection cover up our own very own lights. Planting your hands when you're ready. Move through any amount of movement that feels right for you. So maybe three-legged dog is a good place to go. Some of you like to flip your dog. Some of you like a puppy pose where the knees are bent, you look to your thumbs. And then we'll start again with Anjaneyasana, left side. If you're in a flip dog, take your time. There's no rush to get here. You'll catch up, back knee down, melting hips. Good. And again, if you're working on establishing more strength in the body, you would stay retracted a bit out of these hips and even imagine your front knee pulling forward and up, turn that whole glute system on. But you still have energy in equal amounts from the foot to the hips to the shoulders to the hands. And then slowly move to that expression of Hanuman, half or full. Your left heel's out in front and you scooch that right knee back. Walk your hands along with it. Notice if you're making a face, then you're probably gone farther than necessary. Just go where the body stops you. It's perfect that way. There's no amount of enlightenment that occurs when you find your way into a full split. Nothing exciting happens. Buddha doesn't arrive on your mat and say congratulations. So no big deal, no attachment. You're just getting the same perfect stretch wherever you are. And then we'll move to the pigeon. Bend your left knee. Again, you might stay with this whole outer hip on the floor. It's really lovely for your knees. And then folding whichever direction. Or if you're kind of up, there might be space even between your hip and the floor. You can support it with a block or a blanket, but it's also okay, unless your knee is unhappy about it. And then fold in, take yourself into your quiet space, doing your light maintenance, keeping your lighthouse working. But those shields, boy, whew, they add up, and God forbid you might have a bunch of shields from the past, and they take a long time to dissolve, right? So you just keep coming to your mat. You don't even have to try or be deliberate about any of that work. The practice will take care of it all for us. We just have to show up and do the work, the practice. And somehow or another, it magically starts to dissolve some of those shields. Sometimes I think that's why you cry in pigeon. Like some of that stuff that you harness in your body physically from experiences, traumas, past stuff starts to dissolve, and your mind, it experiences the emotion that was there when the tensions were created. I'm not saying this right, but you get the idea, I hope. Again, medicine money can't buy. Find your way back to your down dog or your flip dog or your child's pose. If you have an audible exhale you'd like to get out, open your mouth and let go. And then we'll move to the top for our tree. Rising to stand, arms overhead, palms together, face soft. Maybe the right foot just starts at the inner ankle bone. It might travel to the calf muscle. It might hop over the knee and find its way deep up, even into that pubic bone area with the heel. Like really get it on up there. And then gently push the foot into the leg into the foot. Root well down through the left foot. But then feel this liftedness through the arms. And this is the place where you can just radiate, shine. You're so well connected to self. Your monkeys are all sitting there with smiles on their faces. Let that light go far and wide. It goes far. It's pretty cool, the ripples of this outpouring of energy. And then switch sides. Take your time. Some days your trees are pretty sloppy. Some days you need to have big trunks. You might be in a 2-footed tree some days. It's perfect. As long as you're rooting, you're feeling this essence of ease through the body. Your radiance is right up there at the top, bubbled up. And you're just expressing whatever. And some days you're receiving. Some days you're in your tree and you're the one getting the energy from everyone else. And then slowly turn around, lay down flat, your second of 3 little shavasanas. Take this time just to feel that peace. If you're feeling some sort of shift, something magical is occurring, just stay there, continue resting, especially if you've done the same exact practice 100 or more times. There's going to be days where it just kind of hits you here, and just stay there and be receptive to that. Otherwise, roll over onto your belly and move your way into your first locust. We'll start with just the legs, chest, and arms up. Everything that can lift away from the floor, lift it. And then because you're at this longer point in your practice, all those muscles are ready to go. They're fired up, they're lifted, they've already done their work. Now they just need oxygen. So just continue feeding those muscles with oxygen. The breath is the work, bringing in the prana. And in doing so, that's your investment. You're pouring attention into this moment that creates longevity for your physical body. It's amazing. Lower down slowly, look to the edge of your mat, let your left ear melt to the floor. Just be soft as possible. Just be soft. And then we'll build on that. We'll do it again. Inhale, lift everything up. Don't think about it. Don't let your monkeys have an opinion about it. You just get on up there and then breathe with purpose. Breathe well. It's going to be shallow. Obviously, you're compressing on the belly, but they can still be very intentional. Send the breath all the way to the toe tips, all the way to the crown of the head, all the way to the fingertips. Inflate like you're a Macy's Day balloon, all the way up, even more than you think you can. And then lower it down. Look the other way, right ear to the mat. Be soft. And then third and final set, maybe Dhanurasana if you know that, reaching back for your feet or ankles. Or you can interlace your hands behind the back and glue your legs together like a cobra tail. Or just repeat the first couple. Inhale breath when you're ready, and up you go. And then same idea. The body's pretty much done what it's going to do. Just bring oxygen and life force into the spaces. Fuel the posture. Increase your longevity. Strength in the back chain, so incredibly valuable. Worth every moment in this pose. And then slowly lower down. Place your arms together over your head like you're diving into some water. Let your legs be long on the mat. And then if you'd like, you can bend your elbows so your hands come behind the skull. And you kind of wiggle those elbows forward, lengthening through the armpit and the side waist. Stay just like that, but soften the grip on your hands a little bit. You could even just make like prayer hands instead of the interlace so that there's less energy in the pads of the fingers. Yes, so good. And then unless the back is still really chit-chatty, which it may be, you might have done like a level 10 locust pose, it might still be active. Stay here if that's the case. Otherwise, push your way slowly to just 2 breaths in child's pose as we transition to seated. And then also maybe child's pose is feeling very satisfying, like something's going on there. Be receptive to that and just stay put. Or walk your hands in and swing your legs around in front. We'll bring the legs long in front. Bring the right knee up, about a fist distance between the foot and the knee for now. And then rainbow your right arm up and behind you. And either hug the right knee with the arm, the chest and the belly coming towards the inner thigh, or you might put a little leverage with the elbow outside of the knee. There's other places to go as well. But then push into the right hand a little so your chest upright. And then anchor a little better down through the hips. Energize the left leg. And then inhale, get taller through the spine. As you exhale, let the twist occur. So imagine you're like a tide pool. So inhale, fill the body with all of that fluid, like the nice space. And then as you exhale, the tide pool's emptying and you're twisting further into the space. Do that again a couple times. Inhale, like you're rinsing, filling, 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 up, 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 up. As you exhale, emptying and seeing, all that space. One more. And then you can take a little counter pose, bowing off to your left side. Let your head relax. And then other side. Right leg long, left foot a little bit outside of to the left of the knee. And again, rainbow the left arm up and over. There's other variations here if you take this on repeat, because since it's going to be on YouTube, do all sorts of different stuff here at the end. You don't have to stay attached to the script. And then same thing, energize the right leg, sit nice and tall through the spine, fill, 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 and then migrate those right ribs closer to the leg as you exhale. So nice. Just harmony. Your body is nature. Remember, it's finding its way back. Untangle, bow out to the right, and fold. And then come back to center. Extend your legs long, walk the flesh out from underneath. You could also add wide-legged fold or Baddha Konasana here. Otherwise, if you're with me, Paschimottanasana. Lasso those big toes one day with your peace fingers and thumb grip. You can also just have your hands by your knees. And then lift up tall. And almost like there's like a ratchet from your collarbones to your feet, like tick, 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 tick. Pull your chest forward more. And once you get all that length and expression, your body's going to say like, okay, I'm good here. This is my stopping point. Honor that, but then allow the chin to come in, allow the neck to rest. And if you happen to be quite close to your legs and you have your big toes, you start to sort of feel that tide pool essence again. So fill up. And then as the wave exits the tide pool, go along with it and let your head move towards your thumbs more and more without creating stress in the shoulders or in the arms. And almost like a little turtle's coming right out of its shell. There's so much space between the tail and the crown. Just try to let it show up. Just feel it. Length, 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 length. And then return. Scooch forward on your mat a little bit so you can come to lying flat. Bring both knees into the chest. Let the left leg come now slowly to the floor and bring your right knee to the outer rib cage. A loose grip on the top of the shin. And for 5 breaths, allow each exhale to feel a little more compression at the top of the hip crease. You can move the flesh right there too, again, if it's stuck. And then inhale, fill up the lower right belly. Squeeze just gently a little as you exhale. So now you're taking good care of your digestive space. This yoga practice is just such a piece of medicine for your one single use item body. You only get to have this one, there's no replacement. You gotta take good care, keep it working. And then push your knee away. Cross it over the body as you sort of shimmy your hips a little towards the right. So they come more to midline. Let your right arm unfurl. You might look towards your right thumb. Be soft. And then back to center. Wind removing pose on the left side. Right leg long, left knee to the outer rib cage. Take time to move the flesh from that space so you can create a deeper compression. And then use the diaphragm and the lungs to massage those inner organs. It separates the practice from pretty much all physical modalities. It's this really like holistic, um, what's the right word? Aim, you know, it's like you just want everything to be in harmony. Not for aesthetics. The practice is quite the opposite. When you get to the bottom of breath number 5, it's probably approaching. Find that twist. Scooch your hips to the left as your knee falls right. That reminds me of a quote Brian Kess says, like, I've been in his class a few times. We had hosted him actually in Scottsdale. He says, like, what if you've just got one car at birth? Like, what if you were a car? Would you take it out and romp it in the desert? And no, you drive it like a granny. Back to center, both knees into your chest. And he's right. There's no question. We wouldn't worry about putting, fancy rims on it and all sorts of silly things aesthetically. We just take good care of what's under the hood. So from here, we're moving into Shavasana. If you have time to spare and you have another 10 minutes, just continue maybe shoulder stand or plow. You could take fish. There's some various things. You could have inserted bridge earlier. I should have said that 10 minutes ago. But as you come into your final rest, let your arms be soft by your side. And then as you move through your day, just start to notice ways in which you begin to guard again. And just try your very best to remain in an open and loving space where the light can get in and the light can get out. And it's through non-attachment, non-judgment, all the like yoga works that you're able to stay safe without that physical manifestation of guarding. So as you lay here, just embrace that. Fill your body up like you're a Macy Day balloon all the way, fingertips, toes, crown of the head, behind the eyes, the jaw. And as you sort of soften, deflate a little, 2 minutes, Shavasana. At least 2 minutes. 10 would be better.